that came out this year. Found Voices is dramatic monologues, and it's serious poems, I suppose, but it's also they're also pieces of fiction, and they're also playable as theatre. And I separated these books kind of deliberately. This is called Scattershots, is a book of lighter verse, so to speak. And I think I want to read, I say lighter verse because I don't know how light some of this stuff is. I think I want to read something that I've never read and that I just want to see how it sounds. It's kind of a mad song. It's called Cloud Cuckoos. There was a period of time where for about 5 years I only wrote about animals beginning with the letter C. I had a list of about, 400, 500 animals, and I wrote about 100 pieces. And Scattershots was an opportunity to put some of these in a book. So there are over 50 limericks in this book. There are miscellaneous light verse poems which I've written over the years, several of them being about the history of light verse and about light verse poems. Light verse poets, for example, there are poems about Edward Lear and Dorothy Parker and Lewis Carroll and Ogden Nash and Dr. Seuss and whatever. I mean, so there's a lot of history of light verse stuff in there. But then there are also all these poems about animals beginning with the letter C. And this is one of them, so to speak. It's called Cloud Cuckoos. I'd love to hear how this sounds in my voice. The people in my family are fools and liars, just like me. But all of us know how to count, especially to the wrong amount. My mother owned a cuckoo clock, kept hidden in her party frock, that told the time 12 times a year, until an angel found it there and flew her bareback round the sun. When we turned half of -1, he cast her wreckage, fat with us, under a passing convent bus. When we were born, the midwife said, "That twin's ugly, this twin's dead." My sister gave a banshee shriek. One almost none, her heart was weak, died of shock. I swiped her soul and popped right out, alive and whole. So we went on as we'd begun, the miracle children, 2 and 1. My twin was 1 and I was 2. And so in spurts we grew and grew till she was 2 and I was 3. But then she grew away from me. She grew so fast by 4:30, her left arm had to move next door. She died of awkwardness at 5, alone, forgotten, but alive. Our parents split when I was 6. My mother took to turning tricks. I learned to curse when I was 7. Dad said, "You won't go to heaven." Whoops, turn the page. Dad said, "You won't go to heaven." I shrugged it off and left at 8 for Hollywood, and did so great we sold the family snake oil mine and fished for cuckoos off Cloud 9. There, what wits I'd left at 10, I mislaid time and time again, but bought more cheap off Route 11. Mum said, "Son, you'll go to heaven." Then she and father hanged themselves to lead the way in scuffed size 12s. Just as my long-lost twin of 13, telling the army I'm deserting, came home to marry me at 14. My parents wept and started courting. Life was grand till she turned 15, lost her job and started drifting, swigging gin with Windex mixed in, and left me here with her M16. When I was saved and 17, I swore I'd come to heaven clean, but man, I got so tired of waiting. I hitched out, spaceship style, at 18. Sent this message back at 19. The bottle used to have a pint in, but I drank it. I was 20 when the bottle came back empty. Now, I have no idea where stuff like this comes from. but I put it in a book. Yeah, it's a counting song, as you can tell. So sort of after the opening, it starts when we turn half of -1, and then it goes through. One almost none, and then Miracle Children 2 and 1, 1 and 2, through 2 and 3. So I mean, it progresses until 20 from once it gets to the half of -1. But yeah. But it's a mad song, and there is a long history of mad songs in literature.
The title made me think of Aristophanes.
Yeah, and and I think that's that's what I think a lot of people would see as a reference to. But sort of it's Cloud Cuckoo Land, obviously, which is madness.
Yeah.
There's a novel by Anthony Doerr, Cloud Cuckoo Island.
Yeah, I don't know that one. Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
So to learn more about it, I thought it's just some fable, some old fable or something about Cloud Cuckoo Land.
Yeah, it's a traditional idea about nuttiness, nonsense.
Hence one flew over the cuckoo nest.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so obviously a lot of the stuff in this book is really light, and because there's a ton of limericks and stuff like that. But I call it a lighter verse book because some of it is off the rail.
It's light and it's also kind of dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has both. There's a lot of humor, but also you could look at it as pathos too.
Well, after the sort of the illegitimate birth, they all die. Every character dies several times.
That's not enough.
Do you want to read us something, Richard?
I was just thinking, I have a mad song called Song of the Spores. I was just wondering how it compared with what you just read. Song of the Spores.
I've got some crazy, I call it crazy man poetry.
Yeah, let's hear.
Here it is, Song of the Spores. 100 strong, all single-minded, we so fast and clean get in, get out as easily. We've filled our hearts with rounds and rounded up all kinds, uniting us to feel sufficient in our minds. Our suits are strong as steel, with candies in the back. We're hundreds strong and never rolling back. An empire for a smile, a people for a wink, are bought and quickly sold. It's stylish, don't you think? Suppose if you'll allow that you could visualize our slowly burning crowd, intent to monetize, a self-consuming blaze that raises and appalls whatever claims to last, a wheel that never stalls, creatively destroy the single, mute and weak. Attack, unwrap, enjoy, though this the many speak. No, through this the many speak.
I'll look up both yours when I get home because I do have that book. Read them. Okay. Let's hear your bad songs, Will. Bad songs.
Well, I don't think I have it on here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, can't do it this month. Oh, it's not in my e-books. I'll have to load it on.
Very good. Want to give us another?
Sure. I'll give you something shorter because that was about 4 pages double space, but in poems.
It's a bit different. And those are small pages.
Yeah, they are small pages. This is this printer, this publisher is like that. I mean, the first book that I put out through him, I had to rewrite half the poems because of my long lines. And then all spill over to the next line. I don't want that. So yeah, it was a.
So how did you do that? You divided the lines, or?
Yeah, I rewrote the poems to change the line breaks. So it would look less weird on the page. And I turned several of them into prose poems. Because that was the only way I could think of to deal with it. Let me read something more less. This is another example of something which is, I call it lighter verse. I think I was born in the wrong age because, I just love to rhyme. And of course that's out of fashion now, except in light verse.
And hip hop.
And hip hop, that's true. And that wordplay is in performance poetry is often very appropriate and what makes it shine. But there's so much pose in hip hop, I know that there are hip hop artists who don't do that. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it works. If you take somebody like Patricia Smith, who writes performance poetry, which is very serious, but then she adopts personas, and that's very different from the kind of pose which turns me off in hip hop, where people are brandizing and things like that. And I don't listen to it enough, I think. But anyway, Canary in the Coal. So this is another sea beast. Canary in the coal. Life is cheap, cheap's canary, and the hard black coal burns fair. The soot-throat men and I are gathering fistfuls of black fire. 7 thin skeins of moonlight swing from the crawling lamps. I ride shotgun through bouncing shadows, the roof's dark shoulder slumps. My black man has hollowed me a nest of finely knotted wire. He sets me in the glittering dirt to sip the skimpy air. And he smashes echoes from the wall in dense, dust-skittering clumps. My chest's a gold sock in black boots. My throat's a dark green glimpse. Before I was the black man's pet, such greens and golds were all my truth. This face smiled open at the seams. We jumped down King Cole's mouth. Now when I die, cries Canary, I hope my black man's there to scoop me from my nest into the tangles of his hair and dream with him of fruit trees and the sun's great golden tooth beside blue lakes where slim white winds catch and shift their breath. Life is cheap, chirps Canary, and the hard black coal comes dear. The soot-throat men are gathering fistfuls of black fire. I'm not actually certain if that's true, if people did carry canaries into coal mines. You always hear about it, but I never researched that to see if that was actually the case, that they supposedly took canaries in coal mines to smell the